All right, sorry about that. Just had to write out the rent check here. That's a tough landlord, that Mr. Asaf. All right, so where were we? We were under investment. We said fixed business investment, fixed residential investment, and then changes in business inventories. Okay, so we might start the year with an inventory. Say we have a car lot and we start the year with 200 cars. Well, if we end the year, we sold those cars, but then we added more cars and we kept our inventory changing. At the end of the year, we ended up with 250 cars. We've increased our inventory by 50 cars, so we're going to add to the value of our inventory 50 cars, and that goes under under the changes in private business inventories. Now, what if our inventory has declined? Then we're going to have a negative number there. And so that's something to give some consideration to as well. Okay. All right. Then net exports. Net exports, very easy. Exports minus imports. But if you notice on the table, it's pretty important to notice that there's goods and services. Now, clearly, the United States has a huge trade deficit. But a lot of times when you see the media reporting the trade deficit, be careful what you're looking at, because a lot of times what they're reporting is the deficit that we have in the trade of goods, which makes it look bigger. Now, I'm not saying it's small by any means, but if we put in services, it's a lot smaller because that's one of the things that our economy produces. So that's something important to check out. And then the government consumption and gross investment. I like the way that's put because, remember, the government, some of the things the government buys is for investment purposes. Build a road, build a school. Other things are for consumption purposes. Police services, fire services. We use those right now. They're not something that we can use over time. We're going to have to get more police and fire services in the future if we want to continue to have those. But we build a road, we get to use that road for a period of time. So that is government spending, though, and you can distinguish between whether that's consumption or investment. Very important under that is all levels of government spending are included. Okay, you'll see there federal, and then the federal spending is broken down between national defense and non-defense. Okay, and then state and local. So that's kind of an important thing to kind of keep in mind as you're looking at these. And some of the questions on the practice big quiz and on the worksheet are going to ask you to consider those things. Is something included? And if so, what category is that in? Okay, so just another one to keep in mind here, as we finished up with government, is to keep in mind transfer payments. Remember we talked about that with the Mickey Mouse diagram. Transfer payments, no good or service was produced. The government just simply gave somebody else some money, a Social Security payment, a welfare payment. That was just a transfer of income. No good or service was produced as far as that transaction goes. That's not government spending on goods and services, consumption or investment. It's simply a transfer payment. So, of course, when we're looking at the government budget, transfer payments are a big part of that. And that is something that we have to look at when we're looking at the government's budget balance. But when we're looking at adding up GDP, we're just getting in there the goods and services. One other one that could be kind of important going back to investment is that we're not going to include financial transactions, purely financial transactions. For example, if I buy stock in Caterpillar, well, I buy stock in that company, that amount of money that I put into the company should not be included because I didn't buy a good or service that was produced. I bought a stock. Now, that money, though, if Caterpillar takes that and they build a factory, then that will get included. But we shouldn't count both, me giving them the money and then them building the factory. We got a double counting issue going on there. So purely financial transactions not included. Now, one little twist on that. If I hired a broker to do that transaction for me, and let's say I had E-Trade and $8 a trade or something like that, the amount of money that I paid to E-Trade or to whatever financial broker I had in order to make that transaction, to buy that stock, they've provided me with a financial service. And so the value of that would be included in GDP, but not the investment itself. And again, I say investment because I'm buying a financial asset. Okay, those are some of the tricky ones, so good luck with that. And hey, you know, I'm around. You guys can shoot me an email, shoot me a text, and we'll try to answer any of your questions. All right. Hey, how's Mr. Cozon? Is this guy awesome or what? Huh? Thanks, man. We appreciate all your help.